Have you ever felt like you're just stuck, kind of living the same day over and over again? Well, what if I told you that you could become a completely new person? And I mean that literally, on a biological level. Not just by thinking differently, but by fundamentally changing your brain, your body chemistry, and even the way your genes express themselves. All right, let's dive into this, based on the fascinating work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and really understand how this works.
But first, let's start with something I think we've all done. You know, it's 1 in the morning, you know you should be sleeping, but you just can't stop scrolling through negative news. Or maybe you rewatch that one sad movie that you know is going to make you cry every single time. Why do we seek out feelings that we know are bad for us? It sounds totally irrational, but there's a really compelling scientific reason behind it.
And the answer starts with this number. According to Dr. Dispenza, by the time we're 35 years old, a whopping 95% of who we are is a set of memorized behaviors, emotional reactions, beliefs, and perceptions that function just like a subconscious computer program. Only 5% of our mind is actually conscious. This means for most of the day, we are running on autopilot, driven by programs from our past.
So this leads us to a really mind-blowing idea. That feeling of being stuck isn't just a mental state, it's a physical one. It's a form of addiction, just probably not the kind you're thinking of. It's called emotional addiction. Okay, think about your morning coffee. Your body gets used to that hit of caffeine and it starts to crave it, right? Well, your body does the exact same thing with emotions. If you spend years feeling stressed out, your body gets used to that chemical cocktail of cortisol. It becomes your baseline, and your cells literally start to expect and demand that chemical dose just to feel normal.
And here's how that addiction gets locked in place. It's a constant feedback loop. You think about a memory from your past. That memory triggers a familiar emotion, let's say frustration. Your body then produces the chemicals of frustration, and that chemical rush then reinforces the original memory, making it even stronger for next time. And the cycle just repeats, keeping you completely trapped.
And this is so crucial to understand. When you're stuck in that loop, your body doesn't know the difference between the original event that caused the emotion and the memory of it. It's experiencing the same chemical reality over and over and over. You aren't living in the present moment. Your body is biologically reliving the past.
So if 95% of who we are is an old software program, how do we uninstall it and install a new one? This is where it gets practical and really powerful. We're going to look at the guide to reprogramming your own mind. Dr. Dispenza lays out a clear 3-step process. First, awareness. You've got to notice the old program running. Second, separation. You have to stop that automatic connection between a thought and an emotion. And third, creation. You actively choose and feel a new elevated emotion to install the new program. That first step is everything. You have to become conscious of your unconscious thoughts. When you feel that familiar pang of anxiety hit, instead of just letting it run you, you stop and you ask, what thought just went through my mind? What am I feeling? That very act of observation starts to pull you out of that automatic program. Now for step 2. When you notice that old memory or thought, but you decide not to feel the familiar negative emotion, something incredible happens in your brain. The nerve cells that used to fire together to create that emotional response stop firing together. And nerve cells that no longer fire together no longer wire together. You are literally pruning away the old hardware of your past self. And here's the key to step 3, creation. Your brain cannot tell the difference between something that actually happened and something you imagine with intense emotion. So if you can sit down and truly feel the gratitude for a promotion you haven't gotten yet, or the joy of a relationship you desire, your body starts to believe that future is happening right now. It starts producing the exact chemicals of that new reality.
So, how do we generate these new emotions on command? Dr. Dispenza points to 2 of the most powerful emotional states we can cultivate: forgiveness and gratitude. These aren't just nice ideas, they are scientific tools for change.
Think of it like this. Forgiveness is the tool you use to deal with the past. It isn't for the other person. It's for you to cut the emotional cord that has you tethered to a past event, freeing up all that trapped energy. Gratitude, on the other hand, is the tool for the future. By feeling grateful before your desire has been made real, you are teaching your body what that future feels like, signaling your brain to start building the neural pathways for that new reality. And all of this mental and emotional work isn't just happening in your head. This is the most exciting part. It creates real, measurable, biological transformations in your body. You literally become someone new. This table shows the hard evidence of that transformation. In your brain, you see neuroplasticity in action. You're actually building new circuits. In your body chemistry, you're shifting from stress hormones like cortisol to feel-good chemicals like serotonin and dopamine. And most profoundly, through a process called epigenetics, which is basically how your behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way your genes work, you're changing which genes get expressed, turning on healthy genes and turning off genes for disease.
So what does all this mean for you? It means your brain is physically different. It means your body is no longer living in a constant state of emergency or survival mode, but is now in a state of creation and repair. And it means you are actively influencing your own genetic destiny. This isn't science fiction. This is the power you have.
So when you do this work consistently, you aren't just someone who's trying to think positive thoughts anymore.
At a cellular level, you are someone else. Your personality creates your personal reality. And by changing your personality, how you think, act, and feel, you change that reality. You have a new brain, new body chemistry, and new genetic expression. Biologically, you are a new person.
And that leaves us with one final powerful question to think about. If you're not defined by your past, and you have the tools to create a new biological self, who is that new person you're becoming going to be?